Well, good evening, everyone. We are delighted to welcome you to our weekly team call, the Mission Possible for Health and Hope call. And every week when we come together as a team, it really is to remind us, recast, reinforce our vision of what we do as we inspire healthy living around the world, and really reinforce the mission. And every time we come together, as we tap into the energy and the inspiration, the encouragement, the education that goes on within our community. And the Juice Plus company truly is a company that sets the standard for the last nearly 50 years in shining the light for health and hope in so many ways. And so we are in the right place at the right time, and it just continues to get better every single year, no question about it. Personally, I'm very excited about our call tonight for you all to hear Krista Hawkins, our special speaker. Some of you may have seen or were at the boot camp last year where Krista really got us engaged and twisted our minds all around a little bit and said, think a little bit outside of the box. And there is a saying that you don't fail to plan, you don't plan to fail, I'll get it right. You don't plan to fail, you just fail to plan. And so to have Krista here tonight sharing is so perfect as we start this year, 2019, because I don't know if you've seen how many of the leaders around the country are saying, we believe that 2019 is going to be a pivotal year in the life of the Juice Plus company. And I just heard the NMDs heard from Janet Black today that January was our best month that we have had beginning of the year, an excellent month. So we're already off to a super start. But let me just tell you about Krista just a little bit. I know you may know her. She's a wife. She's a mom. And keep your things muted. She's a wife. She's a mother. And she really is a big deal in the world of training and coaching. She has worked for a Fortune 50 company for 20 years and most recently launched her own business. Well, that's so exciting. But what Krista has done is worked with people in their performance and their personal growth and also becoming their best self. And who doesn't want that in their life, to be their best self? And what I know about becoming your best self and working on personal growth is that when we grow, our teams grow, our business grows, and lives are touched and changed. So I'm delighted to welcome you or to welcome Krista. And so thank you, Krista, for being with us tonight. Come share with us.
Well, thank you, Sharon. I appreciate this. Look at all these amazing people on here. I love it. It's like the Brady Bunch exploded on here. It's great. Well, I appreciate the introduction. And a lot of you, I've seen your faces at the boot camp. I'll see your faces hopefully at this year's boot camp in just a couple of weeks. And like Sharon said, I have been in corporate America as a personal development coach and a business coach and trainer, and my background is in counseling psychology, and I was a therapist prior to entering the business arena. So lots of just dealing with people, and that's what we do each and every day, like in our normal lives and our Juice Plus lives. And I entered this business and started taking the product almost 8 years ago. And so it made sense. I did it at the same time. I was a super busy working mom of 2 small girls, and I wanted better nutrition for them. So it was a no-brainer. They told me about the Children's Health Study, and I was like, I'm a smart woman. That makes sense to me. So Chad and I, that's my husband, we got on Juice Plus. We got the girls on it, and I was like, I think I'm going to tell my mom, and I'm going to tell my sister, and I'm going to tell my best friend in Illinois, and I'm going to tell. It's like we share, right? That's what we do when we find something good. And so I shared, and I thought, well, the business makes sense. It's $50, and I'm going to, share anyway. I might as well get compensated for doing some good. And that's where I started with my Juice Plus business. And I remember like almost pounding my fist on my kitchen table to the person who introduced me to the business. And I said, like, listen, I'm super busy. I am not going to, grow a team or anything like that. Like, I'm just going to share this a little bit. And fast forward 8 years, and I have an amazing team. I accidentally became a BF and a sales coordinator. And I thought, well, heck, how does this really, really work? And therefore, the business was launched. And so I did this business while I worked full time, and I was raising my girls. They're still young teenagers. I have a 16-year-old and a 14-year-old. And being able to do this business as I do life out and about was easy for me. And it's because I related to people, and I just became really good at getting in tune with conversations, like what they were saying to me. And I would ask good questions and start digging and be sincerely curious on what was going on with them in their lives. And, by doing that genuinely, the back and the forth and asking good questions, I would hear a need. And then I would be brave for about 10 seconds and say, I don't know if this is for you or not, yet can I tell you something that's really, really helped me? Because I hear you saying XXX about your allergies, or you can't get your kids to eat, fruits and vegetables, or you're getting really tired after working out and you can't recover, or whatever it might be. And I would share my story, and then I would connect them to a resource. I would connect them to a video. I would connect them to Debbie Walton, who's my upline amazing mentor. I would connect them to a sideline buddy. Sherry Snyder and I are like joined at the hip. We're on 2 different teams, and we do lots of things together. So I would connect them to the people and then just move forward. And so that's how I built this business. And one thing that I wanted to share with you, other than my quick story there, which, by the way, Sharon did mention, October 31st, I left corporate America. I handed in a 6-figure salary and my benefit package. And on November 1st, I started with 0. And over the past year, I have been planning for this and creating my own coaching company with my partner. And we launched Future Legacies. And we have 3 different companies within Future Legacies. And one of them is called Future Legacy Partners, where we are really pouring into business leaders and coaching and doing what I've been doing for so many years, yet doing it on our own terms. We created our own curriculum, and we're doing a lot virtually, so I don't have to travel all over the United States unless I want to on my own terms. And guess what? Juice Plus, the income that I made in my Juice Plus business was so substantial that I didn't have a worry about leaving my income from coaching in corporate America behind. It gave me that nest egg. And, remember I pounded my fist on the table. I was like, I'm not going to. Well, guess what? If you embrace this and you work forward, I'm the super open book, and I'm going to share this with you to hopefully give you inspiration, because, I went from making like $200 a month to $500 a month. And then I got a comma in my paycheck, and then the number started changing in front of the comma. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is really a real business. This is amazing. So all that to say, I didn't ever anticipate leaving corporate America because I loved what I did. Yet they went through some structure changes, and I wasn't willing to move and leave and move my family, or leave during the week and leave my family behind and just become a weekend mom. No, thank you. So my business with Juice Plus helped me launch what I love and what I dream to do, and that's my Future Legacies company. And so just since November, my goal, and I'm going to share with you in a minute about goals, my goal is to have 60 paying customers in our team coaching series. And we just started really marketing about, I'd say 30 days ago, and I already have 30. 30 paying customers, and 60 will replace my income completely. So when you have a goal, you can do this. And so one thing I wanted to share with y'all, and you've got pens and paper, is to really think about your perfect 2019 when it comes to your business. And if things are going perfectly for you in your business, with your teams, with your customers, with your confidence, right? Because that's a big thing, with your self-development, with all of those areas, right? Your customer care, all those areas, if things are perfect in 2019, what does that look like for you? And, you know, we're not going to be able to finish all of this on the call, but you're going to write down those things. If things were perfect in 2019 in my business and all these different areas, what does that look like for me? And this is where you have to be honest and you have to dig really deep about what is really perfect for you, okay? Because so often we create goals, and we create these goals because somebody else wants us to do those things. Yet they don't stick because they don't come from here, right? They have to come from here. So once you get that down and you get that plan, right? You've got customer care. Maybe that's a strong focus for you in 2019, or maybe it's team member care and being better and more diligent about coaching, you know, with your team. Or maybe it's in bringing in new customers. You know, you've got to increase that customer count. So maybe that's where you need to be focusing your time, is prospecting and making relationships, building relationships, having those conversations, and being diligent about the events that you are having, whether that's a one-on-one coffee, because that's an event, or whether it's going to a coffee shop and meeting a group of ladies or gentlemen there, that's an event, or it's actually going to a big event in Nashville or Kentucky or St. Louis or wherever you're from, you know, that's an event. So you have to figure out, okay, where do I want to put my focus? And maybe it's in all these different areas. Yet if you're like me, and when I figured out the math in this, right, we all have 120 hours in our week, Monday through Friday. And we all have 144 hours in our week from Monday through Saturday. And no matter what we do, we cannot increase that number. No matter what we do. We can try really hard, but we only have those amount of hours in our week. So if you're working your Juice Plus business Monday through Friday, let's say, you've got 120 hours, okay? And we have to sleep in there, right? So I read a book, and it was called Procrastinate on Purpose by Rory Vaden. Just like raise your hand if you've read that book or you've heard of that book. Okay, it is excellent. And something that I got out of this book, Procrastinate on Purpose, it was an example he used in there, and I'm visual. So he talked about the number of hours that we have in a week. And, you know, I equate that to, like, if you had a pitcher and you had a pitcher of water, and I poured that 120 hours, okay, into that pitcher, and it's full. You can't get any more in there. Well, we just decided our perfect 2019, we were going to look at customer care, and we're going to look at team member care, and we were going to look at bringing in new customers, and, you know, whatever our focal points were, if we made those into cups. So we all have these pretty cups, and we have all these cups lined out, and it has a name to it. Okay. So it has like customer care, team member care, right? All the way down the line. We have to decide too, maybe we need sleep. Okay. We've got to have a cup that says sleep, and we have to have a cup that says, you know, my prayer life, or a cup that says my physical activity and my exercise. Cause that all of those things are a part of your life. Meal planning and family prep might be a cup. So we have all these cups, but we only have 120 hours Monday through Friday. So how many hours are you going to pour into each one of those cups? And the whole idea of having balance, like work-life balance, and we're going to be balanced in work and life, really isn't true, is it? Because, I mean, if we're balanced, even with our sleep, how many of us go 5 hours, 7 hours, 5 hours? Maybe we have a good 8-hour night. I mean, if you're like me, I'm not hitting that often. So we have to pour our sleep in those cups. And then after that, what's next? What's next important to us, right? We pour those hours into the cup. And then we have our Juice Plus business right in there, right? We have to have a focal point for where we want to pour those hours in a given week. And when I say we're not balanced, it's because this week we might have an event, right? And so leading up to that event on Thursday night, we might be pouring a lot more hours into that prospecting cup than we would, the week after, right? Maybe we're on we're doing a big team event, and it's team training. So we're really going to be pouring into our team. Well, maybe that cup is a lot more full one week than another week. Is that making sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we have the same amount of hours, but we're not going to be balanced, but we are going to be focused. We're focused in the cup that we want to fill. And so by doing that, we need to figure out in our given week, okay, what are my priorities in that given week? So if I'm inviting to that event and that event is on Thursday and it is Monday, where are my priorities Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday leading up to that event? And it's probably a lot in the bucket of I'm going to be messaging people or emailing people or calling people. And then I'm going to be following up and making sure that they have the right, information for the event, whether it's Zoom or whether it's, a Thursday night in-person event. And then on Wednesday, I'm going to be sending reminders about the event through text message, right? Or I might be calling. And then the morning of the event on Thursday, I'm going to be spending time texting them again because people are busy and they forget. You're not bothering them. You're just saying, can't wait to see you. We're really excited for this event tonight. So my focus for that week and pouring into that cup is really going to be in, the new customer acquisition, cup. Is that making sense? Like, good? Okay. So that's where my focus is going to be. So where are my priorities? And then you also think about, okay, what do I need to eliminate this week? What can I eliminate out of my life this week? And, looking at elimination, maybe it's, what? I don't really need to do my laundry until Friday. So I'm going to eliminate that out of my daily, activities for the entire week. Maybe I'm going to eliminate other meetings or just random coffee dates, with people who've already said they're not coming to the event or they are coming to the event. Maybe I'm just going to eliminate certain things that I'm going to do with my time because I'm going to focus my time more on prospecting to get to the event. So what can I eliminate? What can I automate? And in my life, I have to make things simple. So what I automate are my text messages. Like if I'm inviting for an event, I'm going to write my script out and then I will tailor it to the person that I'm inviting. But I'm going to automate that. I'm going to automate and I'm going to go ahead and type up the email that I'm going to send, to remind them. I'm going to take time to do that up front. Okay. I might even automate like my customer base. I have an app on my phone where you can enter in the phone numbers. It's a texting app. You can enter in those phone numbers, make sure that they're good, good phone numbers. And you have to go through the protocol to do certain settings with your phone. But I'm going to type in that message. I'm going to take the time to enter in all those phone numbers, which is going to take me a while up front. Yet when it's time to text all of my customers to remind them about this event, boom, I send one text and it goes to all of them. But they aren't going to reply like in a group. There's no reply to all, which is never a good thing, you all, never. No group emails, no group texts. It's a terrible idea. So I'm going to take the time up front to automate that. What can I delegate? So looking at, this week, what can I delegate out? And maybe it's, delegating out within your team. You're like, hey, I'm swamped, this week. Could you take over this task of posting in our Shred 10 group, this week for me? Because I'm busy, getting ready to host this event, or whatever it might be. It might be delegating within your own household, and it comes as like a very nice ask to your husband. I'm going to nicely delegate dinner to you all week long, and I'll give you some ideas for what you can make, but there you go. So maybe I'm going to delegate that, or maybe I'm going to reprioritize. And that's the other thing. You've got to figure out, what can I reprioritize? And I think when you focus on your cups, in your pitcher from week to week, again, it's going to change depending on what you have going on. But it always goes back to, if things are perfect and I have the best 2019 in these categories, this is what I'm looking for. This is what I want. And then I need to make a goal around it. And that's a whole nother session that luckily we're going to get to do together at Kentucky Lakes Boot Camp. If you show up on Friday night, there's a high probability, if I'm talking, which there is, and there's a really high probability that you're going to work hard on your goals that night too. So all of that kind of rounds out, where do we focus our time? There really isn't balance. Just get good at the imbalance and focusing on your priorities from week to week, and make sure that if you do make a goal and you write this goal down, that it's your goal. It's not something that somebody else tells you that you need to do or that you have to do. It's something that you want to do, because if the why is there, if the desire is there, you're going to be much more likely to accomplish that goal. And that's really what I had for you all tonight. And I can open it up for questions or whatever. I think you're muted, Sharon.
I am muted. I was trying to figure out what I just did, and now I'm trying to figure out what else I just did. There we go. I'm going to hit gallery view. So thank you, Krista. Thank you. Thank you. What I didn't say about Krista is that I love her dearly. I should have said that in the beginning. She always pours in so beautifully in so many places, and you all have just really, I love the freedom that we don't have to feel like we have to be in balance all the time, Krista. I think that is where we think every day, every week, every month has to be in a perfect balance, and sometimes we are not in balance. Quite often we're not when we're focusing on certain goals, for sure. So BJ wants to know, what is the texting app that you are using?
It's group message. Let me show it to you. I'll pull it up and I'll put it on the screen here. All right. It's called Group Text, and I don't know. It's the blue guy right there. It's blue, and it's got little like message clouds, but it's called Group Text. And then you can also there's Group Me. I don't know if anybody's heard of Group Me. Okay. But I use that a lot with my high schoolers that are in Fellowship for Christian Athletes. So that's how I message them. And that works really great too. But Group Text is the app that you can download. Just make sure that you follow the directions when you send out one, because you've got to turn stuff off in messaging so that you can send this text message so it goes out to them, but it doesn't go out in an actual group. Does that make sense? Group text.
And does anybody else have a question for Krista? Thank you, BJ. That is a great question. I know Krista's taught me a couple things in automation. I think when I first heard about putting your Juice Plus videos in your contacts in your phone, And Krista showed me her phone, and I go like, oh my goodness, I'm so far behind. I got to catch up. And that was probably about 2 or 3 years ago, maybe. I think you shared that with me at a boot camp. And that really has helped significantly. So I have learned a lot from you.
Yes.
For
yes,
sure.
I use my notes a lot on my phone. I use my notes a ton, and I categorize things because I'm asked, about cancer and what resources you have in Juice Plus, with cancer. Well, I've made a note on my phone, and so I just go in and I just copy and paste that and send it. So I use notes a lot in my phone.
Perfect. Thank you. Well, Krista, thank you. I love the fact that we can automate and delegate. I'm really good at delegating, and you have to do that. You just can't, as women too. I know we got guys and girls on this call, but I think we can do it all. We just have to ask for help. We got to delegate for sure.
Yes.
So
and I learned a lot of that from that book. So
okay, say the book again.
It's called Procrastinate on Purpose by Rory Vaden.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Karen. Karen has her hand raised. What's your question? Wait a minute, you're muted. Okay, hold on. Okay, there you go, Karen. I got you.
Oh, okay, thanks. Krista, hi. I'm also an executive coach and a former corporate trainer. So I love everything you've been talking about tonight. I'm curious, are your coaching clients also Juice Plus customers of yours? And if so, any tips on how to integrate that?
Yes, and yes, they are. And now I'm freely open to talk to them. Before, when I was in corporate America, I had to walk a real fine line with that because we are not allowed to, cross those lines. Yet, when I did examples about things, I would share about me. And part of sharing about me was about my business outside of State Farm, which also gave me credibility with these business owners that I was coaching. And so through just building relationships with them, they would say, you have a lot of energy. Like, what do you take? Or they would say something about my skin or something like that. And I was like, oh yeah, well, it's whole food nutrition. I can't really talk to you about it now. Are you on Facebook? And they would say, yes. I'm like, great. Or, can I text you? Or do you want to talk on a break? And then I would continue on that way. And yes, I have so many business owners who are Juice Plus customers and clients now.
Thank you.
Great question. And that what you just shared works in just about any situation, not just as an executive coach, but just about in any situation. Are you on Facebook? Let's get back together. So perfect. Thank you, Krista, for taking time out of your schedule. I'm so excited for your new business and what you all are going to be doing in this coming year and touching so many people's lives. So thank you for blessing us this evening. We really, really appreciate it. So everybody, give it a hand clap to Krista. So thank you, everybody. Definitely, please take what Krista has shared with us tonight. The best gift that we can give someone who pours into us is to take what they have given and implement these things in our own lives, in our daily activities, and then pay it forward. So I just encourage you in that. Have a blessed night, everybody. Thanks, Krista. Appreciate it. Good night, everybody. Have a good week.
Thanks, Sharon.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Night.